Hi. So, I guess one of the biggest, um, what's the word for it? One of the biggest doubts that I came across over 20 years running my recruitment business when I was qualifying candidates for specific roles was the feeling that they weren't really good enough. They weren't, is that the right way of putting it? Their achievements weren't exactly what they felt they should be. They hadn't really been the ones that had made things happen. They weren't really the achievers that I was encouraging them to be. And what I mean by this is that they were full of doubt about what they'd actually achieved. They had imposter syndrome. And it's a very common thing. It's common in just about everything that we do, that we don't really think that we're as good as we really are, or that we've got the ability or the knowledge to move things forward in the way that we'd like to move them forward. And what I mean by this, so let me give you a scenario where I'm interviewing a candidate for, let's talk about a senior project role, and although this guy has worked on numerous projects, he never sees it as being him that's actually made those projects work. The work's come from other people, though, hasn't it? He's just been the project manager. He's just seen the project through, but others have been the ones that have made it happen. But I think what this belies is the fact that your role within the project is what's made the project happen. Had you not achieved what you'd achieved, the project wouldn't have achieved what it needed to, for example. And I think one of the big factors that I see when I'm talking to people is that they don't realize the impact that they have on the job that they do. And so they don't feel really they're that good to move forward. This is James Foster. This is the Careers Mastery Revolution. And within Careers Matter, we're all about helping people to understand the value that they have brought into their career, the difference that they have made to the roles that they've worked for, the fact that without them, things would never have moved forward in the way that they did move forward. And as such, that they've impacted, they've influenced, that they've affected the outcomes for their company. And then to help them to translate those outcomes into something that sells them forward into the next opportunity, something that's going to make them appeal to the hiring managers, the decision makers that they are going to be dealing with, something that is going to show the value that they have already brought. And to do this, we need to overcome those doubts, that imposter syndrome. So, how do you feel yourself about your career? How do you feel about the achievements that you have brought into the organizations that you've worked for? How do you feel you've moved the needle in the company that you've worked for? Do you feel that you've actually been the one that's made the difference? Do you feel that without you, it would have gone on anyway, despite despite what you've done, it would have still been okay, which of course it never will be, because you're contributing to the performance of that particular role. Whatever your job is within a project, whether you're managing the project, whether you're the designer of the solutions, whether you're the implementation team, whether whatever your impact is on that particular program of work, without you, it wouldn't happen. So therefore, you've achieved, you've impacted, you've impressed, you've made things happen. And it's that we need to bring to the forefront when we're actually talking about moving your career to the next level. What have you already achieved? What is the impact you've already had? And therefore, what impact will you have going forward. But we have to get you to understand that it is your impact, that you have made the difference, because you have. Because without you, it wouldn't have worked. And without you, there would have been failure. So you bring your success to bear on the next project that you're going to work on, whether that's internally, whether it's externally into a new job. You have to big up your impact. You have to talk up what you've achieved, because without you doing that, you're not going to be the one that's selected for the bigger programs. You're not going to be the one that's selected for the higher profile jobs that are going to be needed for you to take your career forward. And this I see happen too many times. I see people that drift along in their career. They don't understand the value that they've brought into it. They don't actually understand the impact that they've had. And therefore, they just go from job to job to job, internally or externally, without really promoting themselves. They think, this is what I do. I am a project manager, let's say, that manages this level of project. I can't do any more than that. I'm not good enough, or I haven't, it's other people. I'm just the guy that sits there as a project manager and writes the PID or whatever, the project implementation document. You're not really valuing what you've done yourself. And if you don't value what you've done yourself, how do you sell that to anybody else? So when you then go for a job and you put down what you've done, I managed this project, and that's all you say about it. And so somebody goes, okay, he can manage that project. We'll put him in on that level project. And there's no growth. There's no progression. There's no sense of moving forward. There's no sense of moving up. To move up, to move forward, you've got to sell yourself. You've got to understand the value. Without me, that project fails. I made it happen. There were challenges. We overcome those challenges. How do we overcome those challenges? Well, this is a story behind them. And this is how you sell yourself. You work out what it is that you've achieved. You work out the value that you brought to that. You understand what would have happened without you, how it would have failed, how it would not have been the success it was, at least. And then you promote that and you take that forward into the next role that you want. I have an impact. I make a difference. I control the outcome of the work that I do that makes the impact. If I'm a designer, I look at the innovation of that design and how it can bring more value to the client so that we can actually sell a bigger solution. If you're the product management within the organization, you're looking at what products, what services, what solutions, how they can move the needle for the organization. There's all sorts of things that we can talk about in this context. How do you impact your business? How do you affect the bottom line? Because that's effectively what we're talking about. How do you make money? How do you save money? How do you make time? Have you saved the reputation of the organization? Have you even saved the organization? Because many of you that will listen to this have done all those things. In fact, most of you have at least made money or saved money in some context. Doesn't matter what your job is, you are in some ways helping your business to make money. Even if you're just new entry into the job, you've just started and so you're learning, you are still having an impact because you're changing the outcome that particular project would have without you. You're therefore impacting the project. When it comes to achievements, when it comes to selling ourselves, we Brits are not particularly good at it. We don't see the fact that we have made an impact. We feel that we don't want to talk about ourselves. This was something that I don't know how many times I had this conversation with people who when I asked them about their achievements, they said, "Oh, it wasn't me. It wasn't just what I did." Of course, it's not just what you did. It's what you did as a team. But what was your part in that team? What impact did you have? Sell yourself. It's so important to take that what you've done, realize the value that has for the next opportunity, and realize how you can reach up into that opportunity and make an impact. And by doing that, you sell yourself into the role that you're going for. And the whether internally or externally, again, it doesn't matter. You're selling yourself into that next opportunity. Why me? Why should I be the one that gets selected for that program? Why should I be the one that gets selected for the next project that's coming in, for the innovation that's going to happen? Why should I be involved with that? What is the difference that I can make, have made, and will make? That is career mastery. When you understand that about yourself, then your career will move forward and will reach the next level and beyond every single time. It has to, because you're showing your worth. And when people understand what you're worth, they will pay for it. So careers mastery is about you getting the job that you want, working for the company that you really admire, and at a salary that you know you're worth. That's what we're looking at for you. That's the outcome that we want to bring to you. Careers Mastery Revolution, then. There is, with this in the description below, there are a couple of links that will take you to to book a 20-minute consultation with me, or to show you some of the program that we work. Follow those links, go explore and see about the Careers Mastery Revolution, and come back to me and schedule a 20-minute call, and we can discuss how we can help you take your career to the next level. This is James Foster, and this is the Careers Mastery Revolution.